So this E. Jean Carroll case, the verdict came down $83 million. They say President Trump owes this woman.
Trump walked into the courtroom late. He walked out when the plaintiffs were delivering their closing arguments. At one point, the judge had to warn defense lawyers they were close to being thrown in the lockup.
She also asked him if he intended or instructed anyone to harm Miss Carroll after she made public her sexual assault claim, and he said, no, I didn't.
We were stripped of every defense, every single defense before we walked in there. And I am proud to stand with President Trump because he showed up, he stood up, he took the stand, and he faced this judge. And you know what? I'll continue to do so with him.
He then went on to say, I just wanted to defend myself, my family, and the presidency. She said something I consider a false statement. Judge Kaplan then instructed everything the president said after no to be stricken from the record. So that last phrase, the jury won't be able to consider as they determine damages. His lawyer asked her if this is his first trial that he's attended as it relates to E. Jean Carroll. He said yes. Then she ended her questioning. On cross-examination from the plaintiff's attorney, he was asked if this was his first trial that he attended. He said yes, and then there were no further questions. All of that, Lana, the president's testimony lasted fewer than 5 minutes. It was about 4 minutes that he was on the stand. The cajoling over what he couldn't say lasted much longer.
Arguing still, before the jury even got in there, about a slide that Trump's team wanted to use in their presentation, and Carroll's lawyer said it included things that were not in evidence in the case. The judge said it was out. That's when Trump's attorney, Ali Bahama, stood up to challenge the judge on his ruling. He has made it very clear throughout this trial, when he rules, and that's it. She started to challenge him. He had hit his limit and said, you are on the verge of spending some time in the lockup. Now sit down. Now, then at this point, we were moving into...
Look, you could... Obviously, that's a travesty. It's totally outrageous. And I am somehow optimistic amid all of this. We know that this has been helping Donald Trump because everybody can see the injustice and the absurdity of it all. But if you watch the fake news day in and day out, you will not know the basic elements of this case. They don't really want you to know that. That this woman, E. Jean Carroll, doesn't even know the date of the alleged incident, doesn't know the year it occurred, that there is absolutely no evidence to back it up. No security camera footage, no DNA evidence, no police report. She never went to the cops. To this day, she hasn't gone to the cops. She said she was raped. You go to the cops, right? No, she wrote it in a book, and she showed up on some fake news shows. That's it. And, well, word gets back to Donald Trump that this person's accusing her of something really awful. I thought in America, you're allowed to defend yourself. This right here, what he says right here, they alleged is defamation. And actually, they won so far. This is why, this moment is why Donald Trump, the court says, owes E. Jean Carroll $83 million.
I have no idea who she is. What she did is it's terrible. What's going on? So it's a total false accusation, and I don't know anything about her. And she's made this charge against others. And you know, people have to be careful because they're playing with very dangerous territory.
That's $83 million he owes her because of that statement. That statement right there, and a written statement put out by his organization that same day from the White House. You're allowed in America to defend yourself, especially against false charges. But even somebody who knows in their heart they're guilty, they're allowed to defend themselves. Not anymore? This is insane, folks. It really is. And Elena Haba, she's a hero. The judge was giving her such a hard time.
Run to the ballot box, but don't get it twisted. We are seeing a violation of our justice system. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not allowed to be stripped of every defense that you have. You are not allowed to be told that you can't bring it up. And imagine a point where a judge tells the lawyer before your client, the former president of the United States, the leading candidate and obvious nominee for the Republican Party, before he takes the stand to defend himself, Ms. Haba, tell me the questions you're going to ask in open court and tell me exactly what he's going to respond, and then edited my questions, edited the response he was allowed to give. And guess what my client did? He took the stand. He abided by the rules of this corrupt system that I have seen. We will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak. Everybody's a right to defend themselves when they are wrongfully accused and to be able to say, I didn't do it. The former president does not live his life in fear, as you've seen every single day. The former president and probably future president will continue to fight for Americans.